All right guys, today we have a review of the brand new Evolution line Instinct from Discmania. So these guys are a little bit different than what you're used to from Discmania. They are produced by Latitude 64. So this plastic itself, I believe, is the Neo plastic. It's not, I mean, it's nothing like you felt before from Discmania. This is more similar to, if you're used to Innova, kind of a blend of a Star plastic. If you're used to Latitude 64, kind of an Alto blend. Something brand new, definitely nothing I've ever felt before from the Discmania brand itself. Now the disc's profile feels very similar to that of a T-Bird. So if you've thrown a T-Bird before, 7-speed rim, very comfortable in the hand. The actual underside of the disc feels smooth, there's no bead to it. Pretty easy to release and grip and get a good power grip on, as well as a fan grip. There's a good tackiness to it. Just a touch of slickness, but with the heat out here today, not an issue with grip at all. Very comfortable releasing, good amount of grip in the hand itself. I'm excited to see what these guys do in the field. Looking at the numbers 7502, I have an idea of what it'll do, but we'll see how it actually performs out in the field itself.
All right, we have the Instinct in action here in the field. These first couple of throws are really just to get a gauge of how this disc is going to fly on moderate power, 70-75%, just with a little bit of hyzer and a little bit of flatness to it. And as you can see, just throwing it at that level maintains a neutral flight the entire way, pushing forward, gentle fade at the end. A really good thing to have in any bag, really. So again, just this disc is going to naturally find its way back over, has that 0-2 fade at the end of it. When it slows down, kind of just gently glides down back to the left versus just aggressively hyzering and give you some flare. So that's one thing to really keep in mind with this disc, is that when it hits the ground, it doesn't seem like it's going to get too much action and get you into a lot of trouble. So throwing these on anhyzer now from a little bit of an elevated position, you can see it holds the line really well throughout its flight. If you give it a little bit of height, it's going to have some time to get back down to the left hand side and give you a neutral finish overall, a relatively straight flight, all said and done. But it holds that anhyzer line well. It doesn't turn over and get crazy on you, it doesn't fight out immediately. It gives you a nice flex line, which is a great shot to have. And these are just powered up a little bit more, just getting a little bit more torque on them, seeing what the disc can hold up to. For my arm speed, I mean, that is just a dead straight flight with a reliable finish at the end. Even on a touch of anti there, just like that baby force flex line that sometimes you got to throw in the woods. I think this disc would do really well in those types of situations as well. For forehands, they're a little bit touchy. If you've ever thrown a T-Bird on a forehand or a TL or TL3, you know you can't power it up too much, but this is where the disc shines. Just a straight flat pull, penetrates forward the entire time, and just that gentle fade, and again that ground action, it settles nicely, it doesn't get you in trouble. It just does what you want it to do. And for touch forehands, just a little approach here, giving it time to work over and not trying to overpower the disc. It just does it all. It's a versatile disc. Overall, I really enjoyed it.
All right, today we are here with the Discmania Evolution Instinct. We have these in his and hers colors. Gotta say that I'm not a big fan of 7-speed fairways. I only have one in my bag, and it's an understable one. It's just something about them that is not sync with me. So I didn't have high expectations coming into this. I can tell you that the Instinct feels nice in the hand. It slightly has a glossy appearance to it, but it still has a good amount of grip. It's warm out here now, so it's a little sweaty, but you still got good grip. I guess that's with the Neo plastic. Is that what the plastic is, the Neo plastic? Little concave edge here reminds you of other fairway drivers. Nice depth, grip depth and feel is all there. So let's just see how it flies in the fairway. All right, here we go with our initial throws. You know me, I like to do exploratory stuff. So these throws are relatively flat. And again, gauging the flight of the disc off of something I don't have in my bag, which is a 7-speed stable fairway driver. But of according to these first few throws, they do the numbers that they say. This one right again is a relatively flat throw. It goes out straight and then fades at the end. One of the odd things that I'll say, part of the reason why I don't have one of these 7-speed drivers in my bag, is because I can typically get a mid to act just like I want them to, which is similar to what this would do. That one was slightly turned over and it stayed turned over. Here's another flat one. I'm pretty sure that these are different shots, they just all look the same. Here's another little turnover shot, but this one had the height on it to actually come back and fall back in line to where it was thrown. The same here. This one I pushed out a little bit further, had a little bit more power on it. I did not experience any turning over due to the torque or the snap that I was putting on the discs. This again was another little turnover that just stayed turned all the way over, never did come back. And that one I did probably put a little bit more force and torque into it, but it still did not turn over and become out of control. This one here you'll see is a nice, just a high hyzer. I think I did 2 of these back to back just to see how both of the different weights reacted. This one's a little bit steeper, and I have to say I like the way that it came down and just stuck. If there was no sliding or ground play when it was thrown at that angle. Now I think that is a replay of one of the shots that I did before, but the same thing. And I was able to do that more consistently with the blue one than the pink one that I was throwing. You can see at the end it wants to flatten back out. It just didn't have the air to do it with the way that it was thrown. Here's a nice high turnover that just comes down and lands softly. Now this was just for the video's sake because I do not forehand and I would not forehand a 7-speed, but you can, as you can see.
All right, guys, so after testing this out in the field, the Instinct is getting a final review of in the bag for me. I haven't had many 7-speed discs in my bag. The last one I had was a T-Bird that was perfectly seasoned, and unfortunately that went in the water, so I wasn't able to replace it. And this is about as close as I've gotten to a seasoned T-Bird in a while. It is a very straight point and shoot type of fairway driver, good predictability in the end. These 2 different weights, you have 168 and 176. They fly differently. The 176 is going to finish a little bit harder, as you would expect from a heavier disc. But overall, the flight paths are similar on both, which is really exciting. You can just kind of pick different weights if you want to have different finishes with these discs. So for me, just that reliability, the fact that it is just dead straight out of the hand with a reliable finish, makes it a disc that's going to go in the bag for me. So that's exactly where it's going.
So the Discmania Evolution Instinct is getting a rating of in the garage. For me, it's just what you would expect out of a 7-speed fairway, and I just don't throw 7-speed fairways. As far as the predictability of it out of its flight numbers, it does what it says. I think sometimes it's a tad bit more unstable than 0, but it always finishes. This 2 may be more like a 2.5. Nothing really at fault with the disc. It's just me and my comfort level with throwing 7-speed fairway drivers. So because of that, it's in the garage.
So we want to give a special thanks to Avian Disc Golf for supplying the Instincts for us here to throw today. And they have actually authorized us to give away one of these discs. So we're going to give away the 176 Instinct, brand new. Thanks to Robert and Avian Disc for allowing us to do this. Give you guys a chance to get your hands on it for yourself. Give it some throws and see how it works for you. Hopefully it'll be in the bag or maybe in the garage, but somebody's going to take this beauty home thanks to Avian Disc Sports. Don't lick it.
I can't.
It's going to somebody's house with your DNA on it now.
Oh well.
America. eating soon.